Long holiday weekend vibes are up. I mean, they're through the roof. I mean, you could feel it. You can just sense the vibes. People are ready to celebrate their freedom, celebrate their work, celebrate their time with their family and loved ones, and get some traveling in this weekend. Those vibes are up. Gas prices, coincidentally, are down. And we are good vibes only today. It's amazing how things turn around, and it's absolutely true. I mean, we had one of the most horrific stories of all time yesterday. And then today, people are ready to focus on good things, and we're going to reflect that as well, because we're talking good things today. All those things I just mentioned. As well as, you know what else we're talking about? That's right, college football is back. And I got a comment from one of my OGs, Chris Big Fish, yesterday, and he said, like, all he said was, tomorrow we're talking college football. I'm like, okay, that's a great idea, Chris. And yes, we are, because, look, even if you don't like sports, even if you don't follow college football, even if you're not a fanatic or you went to these schools or you're a student yourself, whatever, come on. Just be honest with yourself. Isn't it nice that it's there? Isn't it nice that college football and pro football brings in the fall? It's the end of the long, hot summer we've all dealt with. Not as hot as me in Florida, but we've all had heat waves this summer. Isn't it a good feeling to know it's back? That American tradition of college football, of course it is. All part of the good vibes. Good vibes for you, too. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. And I love you, as always, the Wicked Radio live stream, part of Wicked Wisdom with Bill Adams. Find that on all the socials. You audio podcast listeners, too, pressing subscribe. I love you, too. Let's get right to it. Let's talk about it. Because, mostly this is a traveling week. It's a last weekend of the year to get your little road trip in before school starts for a lot of the country. Spend some extra time, maybe some nicer weather before fall hits in the northern states. I totally get that. But in fact, by the way, this morning I've already been to an airport, dropping off my daughter who's going on a trip. It was somewhat busy. It was all right. But this is mostly a driving holiday, isn't it? I mean, you think of Labor Day weekend, you think of driving road trips and all that stuff. Well, how about those gas prices? Let's go to this report, and he's reflecting the information from Gas Buddy. How are we doing on those gas prices, buddy?
Good news for Labor Day travelers. Gas prices are the lowest in 5 years. The price tracker called Gas Buddy expects the holiday average to be about $3.15 a gallon. That's 14 cents cheaper than last year.
I don't know who that guy. I don't know what local market that guy was from. But I just love it, though. I think it was Midwest somewhere. He's just like, let's go to a website called Gas Buddy. Like, I always forget sometimes that local TV guys are still like that. They still exist. I'm glad that they do. It was like the prototypical, like, mid-market TV guy. He was perfect. Good news on gas prices. But anyway, it's true. So nationally, gas prices are down. Locally, this is weird, though. This week, I think it was on Wednesday, I got gas for less than $3 a gallon. So I'm like, ooh, let me scoop up on that. And then I saw some other gas stations that were above that national average. Gas prices have never made any sense to me because I don't think they follow traditional supply and demand. So it's just weird. And whenever they talk about national gas prices, you may be thinking, wait a minute, in my city, it's way above that. That's just national, when they take the national average. That's all Gas Buddy does on that. So the bottom line is, here's the good news. It's working. So energy production is up, as we were promised, and it is starting to, and they're already starting to project into the fall and winter, starting to lower gas prices nationwide. That's the good news. Wait a minute now. This is a little weird, though. I was told 2 months ago. I was told by the national media that gas prices were going to be higher than ever for Labor Day weekend. Could it? Wait a minute. No, it couldn't be. No, it couldn't be that the news was not exactly truthful about that, could it? Right. Okay, right. All right. Let's take that as the first piece of good news. The second thing is, this is Labor Day weekend. I mean, it's people take this for different things, traveling, road trips, this and that. Just got a little takeaway for you and talk about this, because this is all based on, I love my social surveys. I love these things. This is from Wallet Hub, where they do, and when you take the big ones, they actually do a lot of big phone surveys of a lot of people. It's like thousands of people. So sometimes these things are goofy, but you do get a sense of what people feel. And they ask people about how hard they're working and what their thoughts are about their current job situation. I thought this was kind of interesting. These are the top responses. 7 out of 10 people in this Wallet Hub survey said they're working harder than last year. I tend to I tend to agree with that. I think maybe a big part of that is less people are doing remote work, maybe. I don't know. Second thing is interesting. Nearly 6 in 10 people think tariffs and inflation are erasing their hard work. Well, haven't completely gotten the inflation taken care of yet because they printed up so much extra money in the previous 4 years. But here's the real interesting thing. They found in this Wallet Hub survey, more people than ever are afraid of losing their jobs. They specifically talked about AI taking their jobs eventually, but in the short term, them getting outsourced and automated and replaced, which is interesting. And I'm here to give you a little message here. I'm going to get a little preachy on you as well, only because I can throw some personal experience into this. And if you know my story, I can add to this if you're worried about this. And a lot of people are. I mean, the daily struggle and grind of trying to hold on to a job, and then you've got this extra outsource fear of people happening, and with the AI thing, I totally get it. A lot of companies in almost every industry are cutting back. I understand this. Here's why I understand this. Let me take you back a year ago, last Labor Day. I've talked about this a million times, and a lot of you already know me from radio days. A year ago, Labor Day of 24, I hadn't even started this podcast yet. I hadn't even started, talked about it, did some videos or whatever, like I had been, because I was fresh off getting let go. They just didn't renew a contract. Well, basically, they bought me out from radio days. So that was only a year ago. I'm not saying this to brag. I wouldn't do that to you. I'm not even that impressed myself. I'm just telling you, if I can figure this out, of having a massive change in a year's time, if my little pea brain can figure this out, you definitely can figure this out because you're a hell of a lot smarter than I am. In a year's time, my wife and I have started a completely new business on top of the one we already had, and ground is set to be broken in that probably within 5 weeks, okay? Within a complete, from a thought of an idea 1 year ago to groundbreaking, and will be open by late December, early January. That's one big thing. Got healthier, ate healthier, really focused on getting better in almost every single area, personal success in those areas. Again, I'm just talking about how things can change quickly and turning an obstacle into, a reality and a positive thing. And speaking of this podcast, just started talking to you guys every single day. This thing, mostly on the audio side, but this thing has grown way, way beyond I ever expected in this amount of time. I haven't even put any marketing towards this yet, but you guys are here sharing some time with me, mostly on replay, mostly on audio, but whatever. That's what can happen in a year. My takeaway, taking all that information from the survey where, it's true. You're probably going through this yourself or anybody you talk to in the working field. As long as we're talking about Labor Day weekend and jobs and what you do for work, everybody's afraid of getting replaced. But don't fear the change is all I'm here to tell you. That's the only reason why I bring up my personal story, because it can turn into something freaking amazing. In many cases, many things amazing. You're never completely out of it. And if you don't identify yourself as your whole being your job, it makes that transition a whole lot better. And by the way, no matter what you do for work, no matter what it is, how you make a living, even if you hate your current job, you hate your situation, you hate where you are, it still has value. Even if you're at a dead-end job, well, you're not going to be there forever. And you can chalk that up as one more freaking thing you don't ever want to do. And you can segue that into the next step in making it better for yourself. So my little positivity for today, I just wanted to share that with you because things can turn around quickly. Take it from me. If I can figure it out, you can. All right, let's get into some other stuff. I'm going to slip this into, and I'm going to sneak this into the good news category, even though it's attached to a news story. The most horrific news story, obviously, we had yesterday, but I'm not going to dwell on that. Don't worry about it. I'll say this. We have begun in a small way, and it's going to take years. It's going to take decades, maybe. We have begun solving the mental health crisis in our country. I mean it. That's how big of an announcement this was. It's a little bit long, but you got to hear the whole thing, and let's be honest, he's kind of tough to listen to sometimes. But RFK Jr. made an announcement yesterday that was earth-shattering, and it's not getting nearly enough attention as it should. And it's this. Looking at these mass shootings like we had yesterday as a mental health crisis, this is how it starts. This is the first time anybody of that stature has mentioned this. And looking into the drugs that we're pumping into these people. I said it yesterday. More than anything, I want to know what drugs they're on. Right? Here's what he said. It's long. You got to listen to this.
I certainly consider mass shootings a health crisis, and we are doing for the first time real studies to find out what the etiology of that is. And we're looking for the first time at psychiatric drugs. You know, these kind of mass shooting, people have had guns in this country forever. When I was a kid, we had shooting clubs at our school. People, kids, my classmates, other people, would bring a .22 rifle with their guns to school and park it in the parking lot. Nobody was shooting. So there's never been a time in America, in the history of humanity, and people walked into a crowd, into a church or a movie theater or a school or a crowd of strangers and just started randomly shooting. It's happening in our country. It's not happening around the world. And there are many.
Takeaway, we're the most medicated country in the world, in human history, for the first time ever. And boy, if you thought they were attacking him before, he is about to be, and he doesn't care. That's why I admire him on this. If you thought he was attacked on the vax thing, now that he is launching an official study through HHS to look into the medications and the hormone-changing drugs and everything else that's going on with the mass shooting and the trans community specifically, if you thought they attacked him on the autism opinions he had before, wait till you hear and see the attacks on this. But it's okay. He's the first guy. He's the first guy to mention what we need to do is to look into the mental health crisis in this country. It just started. It just started yesterday. That was the first spark in what's going to become a massive fire. And there's going to be so much pushback, and there's going to be so much complaining, and there's going to be so much misinformation and propaganda against him and against doing that. But it's happened. And the reason, here's the really good news, and then I'll get off this. The really good news is he feels confident enough to say this because he knows he has the support to do it. He knows there's enough people, and they heard the outcries all week long of people, well, since the day before yesterday, of people clamoring for a deeper investigation into this. It's going to be great news. It's going to take a long time, but I promise you it's going to be great news. Speaking of great news, and this goes to you, Chris Big Fish, one of my OGs. I hope you're listening now because you were the one that kicked this off. I wasn't even going to do this, but it's a great idea. Yesterday, he just comments on the live stream, tomorrow, we're talking football. Okay, all right. Great idea. So let's do it. 5 straight days of college football.
It's the dawn of a new college football season.
We are ready to start this season. Here we go, turn this thing back up. Let's go make it happen.
How many of you really know you're alive? Everyone's equal to this.
Now, listen, I said this in the introduction, but if you're just tuning in now, how about it? I mean, come on. Okay, even if you're not a football fan, even if you're not a sports fan, you don't like this, you don't follow a team, you don't have any loyalty to anybody in the college or the pros. All right, isn't it nice, though? Isn't it nice that it's here? I mean, it tells you that fall is here. It tells you that we're moving on to this American tradition, tailgating at parties and getting together. Come on, it's great. And it started off last night. Not that I want to promote ESPN, but they did have a great intro there. Started off last night where, that's right, my very small football program of the University of South Florida Bulls beat ranked number 25 Boise State. That's right. I had to dig up my USF hat for that one, but it goes on to tonight. We've got Auburn at Baylor, Appalachian State at Charlotte, UNLV at Sam Houston, Kansas State at Wake Forest. Saturday, it gets really big. Texas at Ohio State, LSU at Clemson, Syracuse at Tennessee, number 8, Alabama at FSU in Tallahassee. We've got Toledo at Kentucky. We've got Cal at Oregon State. And on Sunday, get ready for this, Notre Dame at Miami, Virginia Tech, South Carolina. College football is back, baby. We did it. We made it through the summer. Almost, but officially, fall is here. I told you it was going to be good vibes. Just enjoy it. You don't have to follow a team to celebrate the fact that college football is here. I told you it was going to be short and sweet, too. Good vibes only. That's what it's all about. We went through the bad news of this week. Now it's time to celebrate. And again, the takeaway, Labor Day, you're thinking about your job, you're afraid about your job, don't ever be afraid of change. I'm living proof. Telling you, you can do it. And all work is valuable. Enjoy your long weekend, especially if you're traveling. Please be safe. And on Monday, we'll talk about I'll be back on Monday. Probably everybody's going to be sleeping late and hungover, but that's okay. It'll still be here on the replay for you. And thanks for finding the audio podcast as well. And again, A year ago, this thing wasn't even in existence, but it's growing and growing. So you're my friends, and I appreciate you, and I love you. Make it a great Labor Day weekend. Enjoy your time. Enjoy the efforts and the fruits of your labor. Enjoy your family, and have a great time. Make it a wicked awesome Labor Day. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you later.